On today's World Insight, Xi Jinping lays out China's own path to high-quality growth and modernization at Sunday's 20th CPC National Congress. What's next for the nation in the new era? And as China forges its own road to modernization, what could be the key growth drivers? We'll have answers from a wise, strong panel in today's edition of Global Thinkers, New Engines for China's Economy. And here's our host, Tian Wei.
Hello and welcome to World Insight with me, Tian Wei. The Communist Party of China unveiled on Sunday its blueprint for building a holistic, modern socialist China for the next 5 years and beyond, as the 20th CPC National Congress opened. Focused on the party's central task in the journey ahead, Xi Jinping said in a report at the Congress opening that the party will lead the Chinese people in reaching the Second Centenary Goal. The CPC will also usher in the complete rejuvenation of the Chinese nation through, quote, a Chinese path to modernization. So on those issues, I'm joined by a panel of economists, both from China and the U.S. I'm joined in Shanghai, Joseph Gregory Mahoney, professor from the East China Normal University, who's been living in China for quite some time. In Beijing, Liu Baocheng from the Center for International Business Ethics from University of International Business and Economics. Now, your general takeaway from the speech, briefly. Professor Mahoney.
Well, I thought it was a very clear and sober speech. I think it highlighted a lot of the challenges that China faces today, a lot of the contradictions that are coming to China in terms of its need to redevelop its economy to meet the needs of the new era, but also the rising challenges that we see. So I found it to be something that really touched on just about all areas. And made some very clear statements of values and ideas of where the country wants to go and how it wants to answer these challenges in a sensible and rational way.
I see. Professor Liu?
I think it shows the Chinese resolution and commitment to bring China into the modernization by promoting the high quality growth and also to bring a balance to the Chinese economy. And it, more importantly, is really people-centered development path.
Since we talk about what is important in the report, many have been focusing on a phrase, Chinese modernization. Now, what exactly is your understanding of that? According to the explanation from the report, essential requirements of the Chinese modernization, here I'm quoting, are holding up the leadership of the CPC and socialism with Chinese characteristics, pursuing high-quality development, developing whole process people's democracy, enriching the people's cultural lives, achieving common prosperity for all, promoting harmony between humanity and nature, building a human community with a shared future, and creating a new form of human advancement.
If we go back to the full modernization raised during the Chinese open door policy, it was more on the hard part, which was modernization in agriculture, in militaries, and in industries, etc. But now it's all around of modernization that is pointing more to the soft power that China is trying to entrench, which is focused on the good governance. That is something that is very new, and now it is really high time to match the hard power with the soft power development. And this is something that Mr. Xi has been emphasizing for a number of years. So far, months have been in discussion, and there has been high consensus.
Professor Mahoney.
The real takeaway from me was 3 points: that tech development, development for the people, and its commitment to peaceful development, right? China remains committed to national rejuvenation, to the old goal, the very old goal of what I think we used to call 富国强兵, right? In other words, becoming a powerful and wealthy nation. But China also emphasizes and I think President Xi made this clear, becoming strong in every respect, to become more self-sufficient while others are in chaos. And this is not a contradiction. China can become strong and also be a positive role model, a stabilizing effect in a world that is struggling for stability right now. It can set a positive example. It can help lead the world forward. And I think this was a clear message as well.
About high quality development, what do you see, Professor Liu, as the most crucial?
Well, I think it's more of a balanced approach. In terms of the Chinese development path, we do see that over the past years, we focused more on the speed and the efficiency for our economic growth. But now it's more of a balanced approach. In number one, in the a balanced approach towards the economic growth versus the environmental protection. And the other is the balanced approach between coastal area and the hinterland area. And third is the balance between the urban area and the rural area. And the other part is that it's not only the hardware, it's not only economic figure, but also the people's happiness. So that's why President Xi brought up forth the people-centered development program.
Professor Liu, is there anything that would provide some inspirations from your perspective as a researcher of the Chinese economy that's likely to provide more momentum both for foreign businesses and also China's own businesses to look at China as a greater opportunity?
I think that's a great question. We used to rely on the factor endowments for our growth. For example, particularly we cashed in on our demographic dividend, but now with the higher labor costs supported by the better social welfare to the Chinese labor program, and now we have to shift more onto innovation-driven economy where, first of all, the technological innovation will be there to boost productivity and also give people a better life. And the other is that the social welfare program needs to be further promoted so that people will be able to unleash their consumption power because they do not really need to save just in case for what is going to happen in the future. People's capacity building is something that is important that just was also written in the draft resolution, how we can really step up the not only the education, the formal education, but also for the polytech training. And this is something that's what we call as economists as capital deepening. And this is really a decisive force for China to have a lasting growth on a sustainable basis.
Yeah. What about for foreign investment? Professor Mahoney, your thoughts?
I think in many respects, the report touched on these in different ways, and my colleague there in Beijing just hit on some of them. But the first thing you need to do is appeal to those with capital, and I think that there are a lot of opportunities to do that. Second, you need to maintain and enhance competitiveness to ensure investors can lower transaction costs and increase profits. You do this by ensuring, as China has done in many parts of the country, that its infrastructure is world-class, that its workforce is healthy, well-educated, and that political risks are minimized. Third, reasonable regulatory environment, including one that treats domestic and international investors fairly. I think this trend has been improving in recent years. You offer tax breaks, grants, low-cost government loans, and subsidies. Some of these things we're starting to see as part of the effort to recover from the pandemic. But you also need to push back against a problem that perpetually returns in China, bureaucracy and red tape. And we know that this was something they did several years ago, and it's probably reaching another moment where we should retire more stamps. Fourth, you ensure political and economic stability. We know that one of the major accomplishments of the first 5 years of the current generation of leadership was the anti-corruption campaign. China has now largely controlled corruption. It has a stable political system, and it's made significant advances in the rule of law. All of these help foster a positive investment environment. Fifth, you give access to the Chinese market and foster a positive climate for business, be they small, medium, or large-size enterprises. Finally, you continue to open more to regional and international trade. You reduce trade barriers like tariffs, join and support regional and international free trade agreements. You know, it's really helpful for multinationals that have markets outside of China, who want to produce and sell in China. If they can do this and move freely across the borders, it's a tremendous way to encourage more investment.
So for now, I want to thank both of you, gentlemen, for joining us.